2, 1.
All right. What's going on, friends? Welcome to another YouTube Live. My name is Bedros Keuilian, and right across from me is Leighton, and we are doing a YouTube Live for you. We're going to be answering a lot of questions for you. Any question that you might have on your business, on personal development, sales, marketing, social media, branding, etc. Anything that we do here across my companies, Fit Body Bootcamp, Trulean, my personal brand, MDK, Squire program, we will share with you because I want to see every single one of you win. However, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Leighton, we talked about making a big announcement. Now, I want to start off by saying that last year I had my live event, BK Live. Now, for the last 13 years, I've been running live events. It started off with Fitness Business Summit, which we ran, I believe, for about 7 years straight. And then we transitioned to Empire Business Summit, which was for all entrepreneurs, not just gym owners. And then, of course, from there, we transitioned to the what did we run? Myself and Wes Watson.
High Performance Summit?
High Performance Summit. That's right. We ran High Performance Summit. And then last year, we launched BK Live. And BK Live sold out in record time. If you guys were out at BK Live in Costa Mesa, California, you know this was an epic event. We had 2 days of amazing speakers pouring into our audience, all about making money, developing meaning and purpose, and of course, creating higher levels of self-mastery. Now, the problem with the event in Costa Mesa was, while it was great, we sold out very quickly. And on top of that, it kind of was one of those things where, well, we had no more room. So people wanted to buy tickets, but we had no more room. The audience was capped out at 600 people. So we decided that we are going to find a bigger venue, and no better place to find a bigger venue. Let me turn down the volume here. No better place to find a bigger venue than Scottsdale, Arizona. So this is our official big announcement of BK Live coming to you in Scottsdale, Arizona, September 13th and 14th. Now, why is this important? Because we've already got 400 of the 1,000 seats sold to my coaching clients and to members of our legacy tribe and to dudes who have graduated the project. So since 400 of the 1,000 seats are gone, those of you that want to get on board with it, you may want to consider registering now, and here's why. We've got 3 levels of tickets. Those levels of tickets start off as general admission, which means you just get a seat for 2 days, which is awesome. You're going to be getting poured into by some amazing speakers. And when you click the link, by the way, that's in the chat box, so team, if you guys want to drop that, when you guys click that link in the chat box, you'll get to see all of the amazing presenters. And oh, by the way, there are some presenters that we don't have on the website who will be there speaking, who are already confirmed, that will also blow your mind. But since you need to get on board quickly, we've got general admission, we've got gold tickets. Gold tickets include footage of the event so that you don't actually have to take notes. You just get footage of the live event for you to keep forever and ever and ever. You also get paid lunch, so lunch is taken care of for you. And you get a table in front of you. So instead of just theater style, where it's just a seat and no table, gold tickets also get a table in front of you, which is classroom style. And so we've got those 3 levels: general admission, gold ticket, and then the VIP. The VIP is obviously dinners included, and there's a whole bunch of other perks that come with it. And if you guys want to buy a VIP ticket, you absolutely can. But what we're doing here right now on this live is we are making the gold tickets half price. So if you want to come to BK Live September 13th and 14th, and you want us to pour into you in terms of money, meaning self-mastery, and to be around some awesome people, to network with great people, be able to connect with awesome humans and potentially start businesses, start friendships, and elevate yourself to a higher level in terms of your money, in terms of your personal growth, that is the place. And no better way to do it than getting a gold ticket by using that code right there in the chat box. And what's really badass about this is, like I said, when you are watching my show or you're watching anybody on YouTube and you're reading books, that's cool. It's like you're learning from that person, but it's not a two-way conversation. when you go to a live event, you're now having a two-way conversation. You can go up to the microphones, you can ask questions, you can see us in the hallways, and we're always making myself available, and all the speakers are making themselves available to take pictures and to talk to you, to answer questions. And so I always talk about proximity being powerful. Like, this is your chance to be within proximity of some really awesome people who are going to help you elevate in business and in life. So without further ado, this is the official launch of BK Live tickets, September 13th, 14th in Scottsdale, Arizona. Looking forward to having all of you there. And until Friday, this Friday, so right now we are Wednesday, until this Friday midnight, you can get gold tickets for half off when you click that link that's in the chat box. So without further ado, Leighton, what do you say we kick this thing off?
Yeah, definitely, man. I was going to ask on another BK Live, can we talk about any of the speakers that are going to be there? I know it's not everyone's on the website listed, but it is exciting the fact that now the website's available. You can click on it and see the speakers. Can you speak on anyone that anyone should be really excited about, or some heavy hitters just to get people excited?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's talk about one person in particular that immediately comes to mind when you say that, and that is Flex Lewis, right? 7-time Mr. Olympia, and there's only 2 7-time Mr. Olympias, and one of them is Phil Heath.
We've had them both.
And we've had them both. So Phil Heath spoke last year at BK Live, and 7-time Mr. Olympia in the lighter class, Flex Lewis, who also owns Dragon's Lair Gym in Las Vegas. The dude is a badass entrepreneur, an amazing athlete, and just like Phil Heath, an amazing human. And so imagine, Flex Lewis there talking about what it takes to be a winner, and not just winning the Olympia once, 7 times, right? That is a legacy that he has built. And based on that legacy, he has taken those same work ethics, the same traits that he's developed, and he's parlayed that into entrepreneurship and building his personal brand online. Another person that comes to mind is Jason Redman, right? Retired Navy SEAL, wrote a New York Times best-selling book, actually wrote 2 New York Times best-selling books, and he was there last year, backed by popular demand. Like, if you want to have that Navy SEAL mindset, like what it takes to never quit, what it takes to never give up, what it takes to persevere and push through, like, here's a man who was shot up while on a mission in Iraq, and he was shot up, and him and his team got ambushed, and they were still able to kill the bad guys and rescue Jason from getting shot up, take him, and 37 surgeries later, over 2 years, 37 surgeries, they pieced him back together. And here's my favorite part of Jason Redman's story as a Navy SEAL. He told the doctor, like, in one of the surgeries, like surgery number 35, 36, like way up there, he goes, "Hey, doc, I've got almost full range of motion on this arm, but not complete range of motion. Can you guys do any more surgeries to give me full range of motion so I can bring my hand to my chest?" And the doc goes, "Why do you need that?" He goes, "Well, I need to be able to go to my chest rig, grab a magazine, put it in my rifle to go back to battle. And right now I don't have that range of motion." And the doctor had to sit him down and say, "Look, son, you're not going back to battle. Like, you've served your country, you've done your duty, and now we're retiring you." But imagine that mindset where you are so committed to doing something that nothing, not a pandemic, not getting shot up, nothing, not an economic crash, not competition, not bad news, nothing can stop you from achieving your life's goals. That is what Jason Redman teaches and talks about. And that's what he just crushed it last year. Got a standing ovation at BK Live. It's going to be the same thing, but an even a better talk here at this next one in Scottsdale, Arizona. But I'm telling you, man. And then what about Father Michael Butler, right?
Yeah, I was hyped when I saw that one.
Like, Father Michael Butler, the dude is 60, I think 63 or 64 years old. Yeah. He's a priest in Michigan, and he is the most jacked priest I know. Like, literally does bodybuilding competitions. Right. He's one of only 3 people that I've had on our YouTube show. So we've had Jack Donovan on the YouTube show. We've had Father Michael Butler on the YouTube show. And we've had Gabrielle Lyon on the YouTube show. And Father Michael Butler was a smash hit when we had him on YouTube because he started speaking from the point of God. He said, masculinity is a gift from God to men. And I never looked at it that way, right? He said, masculinity is a gift from God to men. And if men don't exercise their masculinity, their strength, their courage, their honor, their ability to master things, then they are letting God down. And that is such a powerful statement. But to have Father Michael there on stage sharing his wisdom, and for decades, he's mentored men, and he has spoken the words of God into men. And I'm excited to have him at BK Live as well. And the lineup is crazy. You guys got to click that link, get your 50% off the gold tickets, and see the lineup that we have. And of course, over the next few weeks, we'll be announcing more and more speakers as well. So with that said, in case you are new to our YouTube lives, here's how it works. As many of our viewers know, I'm a big believer in supporting Shriners Children's Hospital. And Shriners Children's Hospital, for those of you that don't know, they are amazing at providing medical surgeries and procedures to kids whose families can't afford those medical surgeries. And I've been supporting Shriners Children's Hospital now for going on 13 years. And in those 13 years, we've donated millions of dollars across my companies and me personally. And so, because they do amazing work, man. They don't take money from the government. They don't take money from any other 501c charities. They literally survive off private donations of money, and they do amazing work with kids that have cleft palates, severed spines, burn victims, etc. And so what we do here on this YouTube Live every month that we do this is when you use the Super Chat feature and you donate anything through the Super Chat feature, I don't care if it's $1 or $1,000, I double it, and then we donate all that money to Shriners Children's Hospital. So what we're going to do is we're going to prioritize the Super Chats first, because when you pay through Super Chat, you not only get to ask your question, and I'm going to give you the answer that you want and need, but I'm also going to double the amount that you donated, and then we're going to donate that to Shriners Children's Hospital. So together, we're doing a lot of good for the world. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so without further ado, let's jump to it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Before we get to those, I saw one I scrolled up to is Connor McIntosh, I think. He says, "Hey, B, I'm a personal trainer who is in college for exercise science. It's paid for by financial aid. Is it still worth staying in school since it's free, or is it a waste of time?"
I mean, look, yes, it's paid for through financial aid, right? However, you're still paying with time, because if you're in there for 3, 4, 5 years, you're still paying with your time, number one. You're also paying with ancillary expenses, the food, maybe if you're staying, I don't know if he's staying on campus or not, but housing, transportation. So there's additional costs, books, things like that, that you're taking on. So you may be like of the mindset that, hey, you know what, since school's paid for, I want the college experience. Maybe you're an athlete and you want to, play some kind of collegiate sport and you're good at it and you want the college experience, and you're like, you know what, I'm willing to make that trade-off instead of having a 4-year advantage in terms of, launching into life and either creating your own business or learning sales or marketing or working for a company that you can work up and eventually take some equity in, or stock options, etc. Maybe you're like, I want that college experience. Go for it. Who am I to stop you? But I'm telling you right now that there are additional expenses. Those expenses show up as, housing and transportation and books and other things. And those expenses also show up in the form of time. You're putting in your time in something that isn't going to have the same return on the investment that you would have if you spent those 4 years working for someone in a field that you ultimately want to go into and getting paid to be mentored. Right. Like, look what you're doing. You're working for me, getting paid to be mentored, and you're also an entrepreneur, and you're learning and using a lot of the stuff you learn here in your personal business and your personal brand. And so there's an advantage to that. So that's the decision our friend here has to make.
Got it, man. Brandon Russell asks, I've been thinking about starting up an online fitness coaching business. When it comes to marketing and online presence, I have mental blocks on content creation. Do you have any ideas on overcoming limiting beliefs?
Here's the deal. The reason we have these limiting beliefs is because we believe that people are watching and they're judging us, right? They're judging us and they're going to laugh at us and they're going to point fingers and they're going to talk about our speech impediment or the size of your nose or your ears or whatever. When in reality, everyone's too concerned about what's going on with them. So whatever limiting belief that you have, one of the best ways to break through that is to actually do the work. Do the thing that you need to do to see that you're not getting laughed at or the rejection or the ridicule or whatever you think is going to happen. Right. Because seeing is believing. And so our mind says, this is what's going to happen if I do this. And then if you believe that story, then you're not going to create the content and do the work. But if you're like, you know what, let me create the content anyway and see if this truly happens. And then you create the content and you go, oh shit, nothing happened. People didn't laugh at me. People aren't rejecting me. In fact, people are enjoying this content that I'm putting up there, and we're making money from it. And so that encourages you to make more of it. And that's the cool thing about it. So I suggest he do this. And the other thing I suggest this guy does, and anyone, if you've got any kind of limiting beliefs, I suggest there's 2 books out there that you should read. One of them is Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And the other book you should read is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And that will really help break through any limiting beliefs or glass ceilings that you have where belief system is concerned.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so, excuse me, I have a question. So this happened yesterday. A buddy of mine who will be nameless, of course, in case he's watching this especially, he reached out to me yesterday. He says, hey, man, can you talk? It's urgent. I say, yeah, man, what's up? So while I'm feeding Apollo, I'm holding my phone, speakerphone, talking to him, like, what's going on? The long story short is that he ended up, there was some infidelity in his marriage. He cheated on his wife, but he said that he had no idea how it happened. He was drinking. He was around what he did admit to, that he said he was hanging around the wrong crowd drinking, but then one thing led to another. He woke up and he was in this girl's room. He doesn't remember how he got there. He doesn't remember what they did, whatever. And I'm not saying that's not legit or not, but I think what a message could serve the audience is a message from you about accountability and, being like, hey, man, I messed up. I shouldn't have been drinking in the first place, even if it's just that bare minimum. And when he was telling me the story, I was like, bro, I hear your voice. Everything good that happens to you, everything bad that happens to you is your fault. And so it could be that simple, but I'm curious on your mentality or perspective when it comes to when you hear men, whether or not the story is true or not, men that don't take accountability too well.
Yeah, so look, man, I'm not here to shit on your friend, and hopefully he's watching this so that he could, hear that I'm genuinely, concerned for him. But he says he doesn't know what happened, right? Actually, he does. He said it. He went to an event. No one dragged him. But
let me add this detail, though. He also said that he thinks that she might have put something in his drink, right? Now, again, I'm not, and it's that smirk. That's, see what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
So I don't want to, this is reversed, and this was a girl saying, hey, this might have happened.
Right.
I'm not joking about that. I'm not joking about him doing it either, but it's just my mind goes to, all right, man, how often does that happen where a girl does that to a guy, and then, maybe that's my own.
Let's assume that's the case.
Right.
So he still made the decision to go to this event.
Right.
Right? So there's a decision that he made. So he goes, I don't know how this happened. I do. You made a decision to go to an event. Jim Franco many years ago told me something. He said, don't do stupid things with stupid people at stupid times of the day because you'll get a stupid outcome. And so he did a stupid thing. He went to an event that had, obviously, drinking. And then he decided to get alcohol. So that's another decision he made. Right? And alcohol, whether someone puts something in your drink or not, alcohol already puts you in a position to make really bad decisions.
Right.
So guess what? That cup already had something in it that was going to help him make bad decisions. And whether she decided to spike it with a roofie on top of that, which is unlikely, but let's assume so.
Sure.
Right? And at the end of the day, I know how the male anatomy works, and I know that I can't get hard if I'm not connected mentally to my dick, right? So, I understand why a man could roofie a woman and take advantage of her. Yeah. Nothing needs to happen on her end for him to be able to enter her. On the flip side, if something happened, that means he was awake enough. So there was enough decisions made on his part for him to make his bed, and now he's got to sleep in it.
Sure.
And so the real answer is don't do stupid things with stupid people at stupid times of the day because you'll get a stupid outcome.
Right. Yeah, it was more so, it was, I hear it a lot, whether it's this specific story, whether it's another story, men in general, obviously, we know that we need to take accountability. We can't be, blaming it on, I have no idea what happened and this just kind of fell in my lap, whatever. So anyways, I thought it would be helpful for anybody watching. We hear a lot of messages about people in the chat talking about, there's infidelity in my marriage, or, this failed or that failed, or, my wife doesn't let me see the kids. There's something that's happened where you can kind of go back and see, okay, I maybe could have made a different decision to maybe avoid this or kind of.
Totally.
So anyways.
And I think that's the most important thing, man. It's Obviously, hopefully he can make things work with his wife, right?
Sure.
And hopefully this could be a learning lesson for the both of them.
Of course.
But by not taking accountability and saying, look, I don't know how it happened, that's literally, to me, that's a red flag. If I was the wife, I'd be like, well, motherfucker, that might happen again then if you don't know how it happened.
That's exactly what I told him. I was like, yeah, man, it's scary because if you have no autonomy on anything at that point, because it's like, well, I don't know. It wasn't my fault. I don't know how it happened, so it can happen again.
Right.
So, yeah. That's definitely a red flag.
I tripped and fell into a pussy. I don't know how it happened.
I don't know how it happened.
Well, what did you trip over? A roofie?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man. Yeah.
All right, so here I saw another one. Hold on. Where'd it go? Jorge says, do you teach fitness business? Wait, excuse me. Do you teach fitness business or any other businesses? I don't know if he's asking, do you teach just fitness or just other businesses in general? We need help with solidifying the business structure. We are in the automotive industry.
Yeah, okay. I saw that question come up. So, yeah, Jorge, there was a time where I only worked with gym owners. That was about 12 to 15 years ago. Now my clients range from people that have construction businesses, termite businesses. I have 5 doctors that are my coaching clients. Apparel companies, supplement companies, you name it, coaches, consultants. And so if you need help, getting your automotive business structured, again, I don't know what he does. I don't know if he's selling cars because I have clients that also have car dealerships, right? I don't know if he's selling cars or if he has a auto repair place. Or if it's like Isaac and Christian, where it's auto repair and auto body, right?
Yeah.
And they take old cars, build them up, and resell them. So they kind of have a variety of all three. But the bottom line is every business should have structure, because if you don't have structure, then odds are you're constantly the monkey that's cranking the wheel of systems. But if you have systems and processes in place, then you run the systems and the systems run your business. One of the best places I would recommend for him to start are 2 books. One of them is a book called E-Myth by Michael Gerber. E-Myth by Michael Gerber. The next book I would recommend is Traction by Gino Wickman. Traction by Gino Wickman. Both of those will help you create structure. And then, of course, if you're like, hey, man, I've got the money and I think I want to work with you, then you know what? Reach out to us on Instagram or go to bedroskeuilian.com, fill out the application to work with me in my Domination Year coaching program. And let's work together. Let me help you scale your business to the next level. Easy enough.
Awesome. So real quick, before I ask this next question from Michael, I'm curious on anybody that's watching this right now, if anyone's watched the vlog style episode we just put out, was it last week? Was it 2 weeks ago? Last week, right?
Yep.
Just curious on what people's thoughts are. I'm excited to shoot the next episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a nice change from getting out of the studio. And so hopefully you guys enjoy the stories and stuff that B shares and stuff like that. So it's exciting. Anyways, just curious on what people think about that. But this question from Michael Cano, sorry. Oh, Alex, shout out to Alex. I'm gonna get to you right now, bro. I see the super chat. Thanks for that. He says, Bedros, I'm stuck. I'm letting my bitch voice win every day. I need to get a kick start on my health. I know what I have to do. I just can't get my ass moving. Please help me. I know the answer you're gonna say to that. I'm sorry, Michael. I set you up, bro. And I should have read it first and proofread it before.
So he's letting his bitch voice get the best of him, right?
Yeah.
And man, I appreciate the transparency. And while you're letting your bitch voice get the best of you, and you're like, I'm stuck and I don't know what to do. Well, he knows what to do, but he's stuck and he's letting his. Here's the thing: you oftentimes you think that you're only letting yourself down, when in reality, when you stop and you start taking inventory, you realize, oh shit. I'm letting my family down. I'm letting my employees down. I'm letting my friends down. Like, there's so many people counting on you, right? I start thinking about, I'm letting down Toys for Tots. I'm letting down Compassion International. I'm letting down Shriners Children's Hospital. Like, if I let my bitch voice stop me from making my next million, 2 million, 10 million, 20 million, I'm not just letting down you guys as the team, because the more money I make, the more raises and pay I can give you guys. I'm also letting down my kids. I'm letting down my family. I'm letting down the charities that I want to donate to. And at the end of the day, I would ask Michael, are you the type of person that is so selfish where you're going to let your bitch voice create a lower quality of life for your kids, for your wife, if you have a wife, for your family, for the people who are counting on you? If you're that type of person, you shouldn't even be hanging out watching my show, because what, you're just going to get inspired and motivated and pumped up from me yelling on this microphone for whatever, 30 minutes at a time, and then afterwards go and be a little bitch again. If that's what you're going to be, just save yourself the 30 minutes watching my shit and go turn on your favorite OnlyFans account and jack off for 30 minutes and see what happens there. You probably have more fucking fun that way than watching my shit. And so, homie, you know what to do. Go out and do it, because otherwise you truly are a bitch. There's no other help I can give you.
I feel it. So Alex, Purpose Over Play, shout out to my guy. He donates a generous super chat, $50, man. We're gonna double that and send it to
Thank you,
Shiners.
Alex.
He says, Alex here from Purpose Over Pleasure. Starting off the super chat for the kids. Appreciate you guys. Let's make men great again.
Yeah. By the way,
that,
all
man.
of you should go and follow Alex, Purpose Over Pleasure, on his YouTube channel and his podcast. He is doing great work and an awesome champion for masculinity and the next generation coming up.
100%. Speaking of that, I was looking through the comments on that Diddy video.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously people are siding with us because they get it. Like, we're all on the same page. This is like discussing the things that are coming out about and everything like that. But on the topic of making men great again, what do you think that men nowadays should be focused on? Maybe let's say top 3 things. Sometimes it's hard to just, just say one. What are top 3 things that men need to be working on today to prevent, maybe men like that from succeeding, or to just become successful themselves so they can be the right leader or the right mentor?
Yeah, I think the number one thing as a man, what our responsibility is, your values. As soon as you have values, you now know right from wrong, right? But if I've got no values, core values, then I'm going to be a drifter, right? Kind of like Napoleon Hill talks about in his book. And if I'm drifting through life and you're like, hey, B, let's go out there and make a bad decision, and I don't have any values that say, well, listen, I'm not going to drink. Like, one of my core values is I don't drink. And so, but if I was like, I didn't have that core value, you're like, hey, B, let's go out and get smashed. Let's get hammered and go make some bad decisions. I'm like, you know what, Leighton? I like you. You're a good dude. We're friends. Fuck it. Let's go do it. Now I've gone and done something stupid that I might regret. And so one of the best things a man can do is create his core values. When you create core values, now you have negotiables and non-negotiables, things that you are willing to negotiate on. Like, okay, I might compromise and do this thing, right? I might compromise and have a burger once a week. That's cool. But there's non-negotiables. Like, some of my core values are, I won't walk into a grocery store. I won't wash my own car. I won't, there's a lot of things I won't do so that I can buy back my time, save my time, have other people do it so that I can do things like this. Another one of my core values is I won't hang out with people who are negative-minded, who gossip, who spread rumors, because that is the most infectious type of person. Before you know it, they're sucking out your energy and they're kind of sucking you into their whirlwind. So core values, number one. Every man should develop core values, number one. Number two, every man should test themselves and challenge themselves, mentally and physically, by the way. I'm not just saying go get jacked and have abs and know how to do a box jump and know how to box and jujitsu, etc. Do those things. But also, know how to give a 10-minute talk. Like, know how to stand in front of a group of 10, 15, 20 people and give a 10-minute captivating talk. Know how to have charisma. Be able to hold a conversation and communicate with people where you can make eye contact and have charisma and be able to ask questions that are going to get them to peel the onion and give you answers, etc. Because a man who can carry can carry a conversation and can hold an audience's attention, man, that is a powerful man. Yeah. There used to be a time that the sword was powerful. Now your words are more powerful. Like, look what social media is. With the right words, right video, right caption, you can move tens of thousands of people's attention towards your product or service. Like, that is powerful. And then the third thing I would say is to be able to build a network. No man is a lone wolf. Like, every man needs to have a tribe of like-minded dudes. Right. And so you might build that network through a book club, a biking club, jiu-jitsu, a boxing gym, wherever you work out. You might come to a place like BK Live and start building friends there. But have a tribe of people who are like-minded that you can count on. Because when you do, then you become an unstoppable force to be reckoned with, man.
Right.
Yeah.
100%, man. Actually, on the note, I think it was point number 2 you said about learning how to, develop your charisma and be able to speak in front of people. There was actually somebody in the chat, as you were saying that, was asking that. He says, do you have any suggestions on how to get myself into speaking engagements about the march and my story? I've spoken at a Canadian Legion and a few other places. So I'm assuming he just wants to do what you're doing when you go and travel and people pay you to hear your story and your wisdom. Like, how do you get into that? Is it just building a personal brand? Like, how do you get started?
Well, it's not even so much about building a personal brand. If you're really good at speaking and if he's good at what he does, and I'm guessing he is, and so he's just saying, how do I get on more stages, right? Well, to me, the answer is simple. Get on the first and most important stage, which is YouTube and podcast, right? So create a YouTube channel and consistently, once to twice a week, put out a really good piece of 15 to 30-minute topic that's charismatic, that's engaging, that not only entertains but also educates people. Like, those are the things you need. I was talking to a coaching client upstairs yesterday, and I was telling him, look, you are very highly educated, but you are horrible at entertaining. And social media, above all things, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, TikTok, it's entertainment first, education second.
Right.
So if you can't take the most boring topic and make it entertaining, where people feel like they're just leaning in, like, what is Leighton going to say next? Oh my God, that's so fascinating. And then what happened? If you can't take the most boring topic and make it interesting and fascinating and be charismatic and enthusiastic and have people hanging off your words, then you are doing the world a disservice. So this guy needs to start a podcast and a YouTube show. He needs to consistently put out his podcast and YouTube shows until some of them pop off and go viral, right? Shorts and stuff. And then the next thing he needs to do is get on other people's platforms, OPP, other people's platforms, get on other people's podcasts and YouTube shows. Because when you get on their podcasts and YouTube shows, and he's going to probably ask, well, how do I do that? If you're really good at what you do on your podcast and YouTube show, people are going to reach out to you and be like, bro, I watch your shit. I would love to interview you and have you on my show, right? And then now from there, you just go, hey, don't you also have a live event? Yeah, I do. Well, I'd love to also speak on your stage at your live event. And they go, yeah, sure, do it. That's exactly how it worked for me. I started putting out my own content first. It was so captivating. It was so good. It was so interesting that people started putting me on their podcasts and YouTube shows. I was so good there that people were like, dude, you got to come and speak on our stage. And then when I go and speak at their stage, I fucking rock the stage. And then whoever's there and runs their own events, they're like, dude, you got to come and speak on our stages too. And now there's like a waiting list of people wanting me on their stages. And that's how that works.
Yeah. You know what I noticed is that exactly what you just said is the same thing applies to content and you know, the virality of your video or picture you're putting out. Is you just develop yourself or pour into yourself in that way in the self-development space so much that you're just so good and people want to listen to you, to watch you, to introduce you to other people and, hey, get on this person's podcast and, hey, I heard you were on this person's show, jump on mine. Like, if you're just good at something, like, it doesn't matter. You're going to grow. It doesn't matter about the algorithm. It doesn't matter about, you know, you being like Tony Blauer. It doesn't matter, bro. Like, if it's good, it's good. And so yeah, man, that's a big deal for sure. So I think people just need to lean more into self-development a little bit more.
To that point, let's actually just help folks out for a minute with something.
Yeah.
Oftentimes people think that social media is shadow banning me or the algorithms don't like me. Listen, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all these fucking platforms, they want your content to work. They want your content to be so good that you're able to keep people's attention because they want to keep their customers, their users on the platform. But if your content sucks and people keep scrolling past, those people scrolling past are sending a message to the algorithm saying, this person's boring. They're not interesting. They're not captivating. They can't keep my attention. Right. And so it's not that the platform hates you. It's that your content sucks. And it's hard to look yourself in the mirror and go, you know what? I'm actually pretty shitty at delivering content. I got no charisma. I don't know how to tell a story. I'm not captivating. But those are all things that you can build. You can go get that course, Charisma on Command. It's not even my course. I don't make any money from it. Charisma on Command. Go get that course. Go take an improv class. Go hire Joel Weldon or buy his course, The Ultimate Speaker System, and learn how to speak. Go do a Toastmasters class, right? And look how many things there are that can make you into a better orator. But too many people think that I have a good story and I'm already a good speaker. It's just that the social media is cock blocking me. Nah, bro. No one's cock blocking.
Too many people think that they're really good, and it's not until you watch yourself back you're like, damn.
Yeah. You think you're a unicorn? You think you're a unicorn until you watch your shit and then you realize you're a donkey. You know what I mean?
You don't even like your own voice. You're like, okay, this is.
And I've been there. I've been there. I remember a time
same.
Thinking like, man, why was I stuttering over myself? Why was I like going the long way to get the point across? Right. But then through repetition, through getting coaching, you become better at delivering a message. And when you do, the algorithm seems to like you.
Yeah, I heard a quote a couple days ago was people say that practice makes perfect. That's a lie. It's not practice makes perfect. It's feedback makes perfect. And so watch yourself over and over again, whatever industry you're in, whatever type of content, whatever like you're filming, or film yourself. Like if you're practicing for a talk, film yourself practicing it and watch it back and be like, am I interested in this? If not, chances are the crowd won't be there. So anyways,
Agreed.
Elder Ren, I'm not ignoring you. I saw your super chat, but we were flowing in the conversation. Shout out to you for that super chat. That'll be donated, or excuse me, doubled and donated. She says, appreciate you, Bedros. Been listening for years. So
Thank you, Elder, and I appreciate you.
yes, thank you.
By the way, I don't know if you saw, El, but someone in here said that they love your Black Panther pendant.
Oh, sweet. Appreciate it. Yeah, gotta have that, man. My whole theme is that, man, my car is purple. I got the Black Panther logo on the side. You feel me? You can't hide in the city.
Bro, I could see you coming out of my office window when you come off the exit. There comes El.
Here I am. I get pictures all the time, man. People will text me, and I'll look at while I'm driving, and they'll take a picture of the back of my car, whatever. Like, I see you, like whatever, like way up there. Like they'll zoom in.
You can't hide, bro.
So anyways, yeah, I can't hide. Xavier says, I have a tribe of Puerto Ricans building a community of students that want to develop a new skill online like trading, crypto, and e-commerce. How can I get the content out there and attract more people?
How can they get the content out there?
Yeah.
You get the content out there by posting regularly and across all the platforms, right? I think people underestimate how consistent posting over a long period of time is how you get your message and your content out there. Now, you can multiply the effects of that by then going, all right, who already has a big audience of the right people that I can collaborate with? So now if you go content consistently plus collaboration with people that already have your audience, boom, you just time collapsed results. But that's the answer. It's always the easy answer. The easy answer is post great content consistently over time. And just when you're bored and thinking like, no one wants to see my shit anymore, no one's liking my stuff, it's not going viral, I've been doing this for 3 whole weeks. Do it for 3 more years, motherfucker. That's what you got to do. I'm a 15-year overnight success. That's how it is.
As a matter of fact, well, dude, this is crazy. I'll show you the video I'm talking about afterwards. I was trying to post something to your stories earlier about the irresistible offer.
Yeah.
So I was Googling, or not Googling, sound like a freaking old dude. I was on YouTube searching Bedros irresistible offer, trying to find the specific clip I was looking for. A video from 15 years ago came up, shaved head. You know, the Bedros I remember when I first met you when I was a kid. And you've been doing it for that long, like consistently. Like you have to. Like you can't get 769,000 subs just in a year or so.
And nobody was watching my shit back then, but I was just going and putting up content. Like I was like, I remember thinking to myself back then, like, if I don't put up my content piece today, I'm an asshole and my family is going to starve. Like I would really stack the odds against me that way. Like I'm a jerk, I'm an asshole, and my family's going to starve if I don't put up my content piece. Because you put up your content piece and you get no positive reinforcement of, I wasn't getting 100 likes and 5 comments. I was getting exactly 0 likes, 0 comments, 0 views.
Just keep doing it.
Then I put up more content. 0 likes, 0 comments, 0 views. Then I put up more content. 1 like, 0 comments, 1 view, right? Like, before you know it, it just started to add up. And then one day a few things popped off. And then here we are sitting at 769,000 subscribers. That's the overnight success formula right there.
Exactly. And then after that 1 or 2 pieces of content blow up, you've already stacked a bunch of content. Now they can go back and watch your old stuff. And now it helps everything else rise. But you can't do that if you didn't post before. So,
dude, it's so funny you say that. So literally, I had shit from like 2011 YouTube content start going viral in the last couple of years because people did exactly that. They start finding me now, and then they go back to my old stuff, and they're like, oh, my God, that makes so much sense. It didn't go viral back then, 10 years ago. It's going viral now. And so you'd be surprised how social media will actually work in your favor as long as you're consistent, and then you compound that over time.
Yeah, that's more credibility, too. The fact that whatever you said in that video, like he said that in 2011, he's been about this. Like, that's even more credibility, man. This isn't some new age, you're just regurgitating whatever you just learned from a book, last week. So, cool. I was going to ask you about, we probably are going to end up making an episode about this in the future, but I'm just curious because we have had some people ask in your DMs about them creating a YouTube show. And I know we've kind of talked about you laying out how you structure
Yeah.
your episodes, like really basic understanding of it, because I know we don't have a lot of time to just like outline everything.
Right.
But a basic understanding for anybody who wants to start their own YouTube show. They kind of have an idea of what they want to talk about, but they don't know how to structure an episode, make it interesting. The hook, the meat of the subject, all of that. Like, kind of, what's your basic synopsis of that?
So here's what I'll say where creating a YouTube show is about in terms of the structure. First of all, it has to be a topic that you know about. Like, you have to have proficiency on the topic and not just like, oh, let me go watch 10 other people's YouTube videos on that topic and then try and regurgitate it. Because if you try and regurgitate someone else's topic, it's going to show. You're going to be clunky. You're not going to have confidence in your eyes, and people can tell, man. We all have that sixth sense. So one, you better have proficiency in that on that topic. Number two, don't worry if that topic is popular right now or not, because there's always some weirdo. In fact, probably hundreds of thousands of weirdos into the same weird topic that you're into. So just because it's an obscure thing, don't go like, well, there's not a big search volume, so I'm not going to do it. Right. So that's the place to start. Have proficiency on the topic, and then if it's something that you are passionate about, talk about it. Now, how do I structure it? Well, I always start off by giving them a hook, right? You want to kick off your YouTube show with a hook, something that is going to lure them in and get them to want to stay to watch the remainder of the 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, etc. So I'll give them a hook, and then I'll say, now let's jump into it. And I might actually jump into it with giving a story from my life, an example of when I was the 1.0 version, and then what trials and tribulations I went through to become the 2.0 version, and how the 2.0 version has helped me become a better entrepreneur, a better father, a better leader, a better friend, etc. And so once I share the story, then I go, now here's the 5 things that you can do. So I then outline 3 things, 4 things, 5 things, 8 things, 10 things. And so when they're watching and they see that my journal, my leather-bound journal that's in front of me, there's always a title, there's always a hook that gets them to lean in and want to know what I'm talking about more. There's always a personal story from my life. And then there's going to be the 3 to 8 things that I'm going to teach. And then there's going to be a call to action at the end, right? Your call to action is maybe you want them to subscribe. Maybe you want them to leave a comment, turn on their notification, click the link in the description box to go and do the 6-week marathon challenge. Click the link to go buy your gold tickets for BK Live, whatever it is. You got to end it with the call to action, and then you're done. It's as simple as that. Now, obviously, I'll do a longer structure. In fact, remember, we ran a workshop about 1.5 years ago out here where we charged $5,000 a head, and we had 20 people come out to it. And it was, how to build their personal brand and how to, build a YouTube show and a podcast. And we went in depth over that entire day. But you've got to have a process, because if you think you're just going to get in front of a microphone and turn on the camera and just hit record, you're going to end up bumbling and taking the long route to get to the point.
Right.
And I don't know about you guys, but when I'm watching a YouTube video, if the person's taking forever to get to the point, I'm moving on.
Right.
And so you have to be deliberate. And then on the editing side of things, when Ed starts to edit it, he adds music to it, bumper music. He might take a good nugget from the middle of the show and drop it in the beginning where it serves as another hook. So then you can use editing to really fine tune the product, but the product has to be 80% done, maybe even 90% done by your structure and outline, so that I don't make it so hard for Ed, because at the end of the day, if Ed's going to try and take chicken shit and make it into chicken salad, it ain't going to work.
Right.
Like, I got to deliver chicken salad, and then he's going to put the nuances, the croutons and the Parmesan on top, and then serve it up. Yeah. And that's really the formula. And so be proficient at what you're teaching. Otherwise, don't teach it, because it'll be obvious.
Got it. Hope you guys are writing that down, man, because that was some serious game right there. Muhammad Anas says, hey, Bedros, I have a convocation tomorrow. Should I keep searching for a job, or should I start a new business? As I am from a third world country, the job market seems to be, there's like a terrible post-corona.
Post-coronavirus. Got it. Look, I would tell him that the reality is, instead of searching for a new job, which might put you in the same position a few months from now or a year from now where you potentially are going to lose a job, I would say start doing something for yourself, right? Because especially if he's from a third world country, you can do copywriting, for anybody in a first world country. You can run ads for anybody in a first world country. You can start editing videos for anybody in a first world country. You can get into people's DMs and really start like scouring for leads for people in a first world country. So there's a lot of things you could do from the comfort of your own home in a third world country by serving people in a first world country where your skills can transfer. But I don't know, man, I might look at that as a blessing. The fact that he's, running out of runway for this job that he has, why go out and get another job when you can now take that leap of faith
Right.
and start doing your own thing? And I bet it'll just take maybe a small handful of clients to make the same amount of money that he's making with his job.
Exactly. So real quick, guys, just want to give you guys a heads up. We're going to be winding down here shortly. Want to give you guys a chance to send your questions, thoughts, and comments. I want to ask you, B, what is the difference between BK Live, big event, and the one we have coming up on June 15th in a couple of weeks? What's the difference between someone trying to decide?
Right.
If you do need to decide, what's the difference between the two? Which one, what bucket does somebody need to fall into if they're trying to do A or B?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, for example, the event that we're having on June 15th here, which in about 2 weeks or so, right? And by the way, if you're a coach or a consultant and you're like, hey, I want to grow my coaching business, I want to run masterminds, run some kind of a Zoom-based coaching program, have high-level one-on-one coaching programs, sell high-ticket coaching services, like the June 15th workshop mastermind is for them, because we're only bringing 20 people in. It's only going to be 20 people for a reason, because not only am I going to teach, but now I can hot seat, right? I can say, all right, Leighton, what industry are you in? You're like, all right, I'm a consultant for the automotive industry. All right, cool. What are the problems that you have? What are the bottlenecks that you have? What is how do you want to be able to help the automotive industry? Well, I want to get more sales managers from dealerships as coaching clients. How do I approach these dealerships? Like, I can coach a 20-person room one-on-one like that,
right? Because
I have the full day, right? I'll take probably 4 or 5 hours on June 15th to do my teach the structure, the sales process, how to run retreats, how to run masterminds, how to have Zoom-based coaching programs, and how to do the high-level one-on-one coaching programs. That'll take about 4 or 5 hours, and then we'll use the remainder of the time to do hot seats, where we can dive into your specific desired coaching business and then create solutions for it. Now, you go to BK Live, you're going to have 1,000 people in attendance.
Right.
Yes, we're going to have microphones where we're going to have Q&A times, but I can't do some high-level coaching that way because there's 1,000 people. Like, it's going to be quick, short answers, and then on to the next Q&A, on to the next Q&A. And so if you're a coach or a consultant and you're like, dude, I think June 15th is where I need to be, then guess what? Reach out to Leighton or just go to my DMs on Instagram and just say coaching, and we will reach out to you, tell you all about that coaching program. It's $5,000 a head to come to it. I promise you, you do what I teach you and you will make 10 times that in the next 90 days. On the other hand, if you're like, hey, I don't have a coaching or consulting business, but I do want to get motivated, inspired, and connect with people who are like-minded, then BK Live is for them, and that's on September 13th, 14th, Scottsdale, Arizona.
Perfect, man. And on that note, because Alex, Purpose Over Pleasure, dropped another one. He said, B, I watch your content from a decade ago and sometimes laugh, but I love it because it motivates me and reminds me that I have a lot of work to do. And so I thought, obviously I want to read that comment because he just posted it, but also too, if anybody that's watching this, if you're in Legacy Tribe, you get half off of that $5,000 price if you want to come out to June 15th.
That's right.
So anyways, just thought I'd plug that in as well. But yeah, Alex is great, man. I hope to see you at one of these events soon, whether it's, June 15th, BK Live, whatever it is, man. I love seeing you and hanging out, man. So hope to see you soon. Bobby Koza says, private chef here. How do I get my food in front of more high-end clientele if I live in a small state by population?
Got it. Okay. So that's a great question. It's funny. I was looking at that question. I'm like, Leighton, ask that question. Because that's a really good question. He's a private chef, and he wants to know how he can get his food in front of more high-end, affluent people, right? Because affluent people, we have money, and so we'll probably pay him better to cook for us. But he's like, hey, one problem. I live in a small state. So let's say he lives in Rhode Island. I'm just going to guess the smallest state in the union, that he lives in Rhode Island. But whatever the small state is. I once told a coaching client, I said, listen, if you want to get hit by a bus, what should you do? And he kind of shrugged his shoulders. I go, think about it. If you are really in need of getting hit by a bus, what should you do? He goes, I should probably stand on the road. I go, exactly. But if you stand on the sidewalk, you're never going to get hit by the bus. So if you live in a small town, you have to be willing to take the leap of faith and go stand on the road. You might be willing to go, well, listen, I need to go to New York City. I need to go to Southern California. I need to go to Miami, Florida. I need to go where the affluent are to be within proximity of them. Because then you might work in a restaurant, you might make some connections, now you're doing some private chefing, etc. That doesn't mean that he can't do this through social media. He can, because if he lives in a small state, he can now do some research. Let's say he's like, all right, what does, I don't know, let's use Jim Carrey, the actor comedian. What is Jim Carrey's favorite food? And he does a Google search and he finds out what Jim Carrey's favorite food is. And let's say it's chicken schnitzel. I don't even know why I chose that. Chicken schnitzel it is for Jim Carrey.
Is that a real dish?
I think it is.
Okay, cool.
And the only reason I know that, is because they have it at Old Brea Chop House.
Okay, I was gonna say that sounds fancy as hell. I never had that. Chicken schnitzel.
It's pretty much like chicken meat that's flattened out and fried, but
Okay, right
it's
on.
got some kind of like German sauerkraut or
Fried
some
chicken.
shit on it. Yeah,
Got it. I
Yeah.
won't ask for that then. They'll be like, of course. Of course you're gonna ask for that.
Right. So with that in mind, if he figures out what Jim Carrey's favorite food is, and then he starts a YouTube channel or has a Instagram where he's like, hey guys, turns out Jim Carrey's favorite food is this, chicken schnitzel. And I'm going to show you how to make the most gourmet chicken schnitzel ever on the planet. And here we go. So he maybe shows a little clip of Jim Carrey in there, right in the edit. And then he shows how he makes this thing. And then boom, he puts it out there. And then he's, oh, by the way, if you guys know Jim Carrey, or do me a favor and tag him in the comments. Now Jim Carrey's being tagged, whatever, 100 or 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, Jim Carrey, by the way, I'd love to fly out and cook your favorite dish for you at your house, all at my cost. Well, don't you think Jim Carrey or whoever else, Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie or whoever, they would be like, one of these motherfuckers are gonna be like, you know what, dude, that was a really cool thing. You figured out what my favorite dish is. You made it on your show. You gave me a shout out, and you're willing to come out and do this. Do it. Of course, when you go out, you better take a camera guy with you,
Right.
And you're gonna document it. Now you're gonna get an endorsement from a celebrity, right? And from that one celebrity or two celebrities, now you're gonna go nuts with the number of high-end affluent clients that you're gonna get. So it's either go and be within proximity of where these people are, or find a way to put out creative content targeting athletes and entrepreneurs who are famous, or athletes, actors, entrepreneurs who are famous, and then somehow get their attention and then offer to come to their house and cook them their favorite meal.
Right.
Like, I would say yes to that.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. Awesome, man. So I want to acknowledge these couple super chats real quick before we wind down. History Mr. B, obviously, we got to shout him out for sure because he's always
Mike
showing love,
Botticelli.
man. And so he sends a super chat. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. And he says, "What's up, Bedros? Love the vlog, man. Much love." So he enjoyed it, and so we're gonna keep doing that. And then Rock Jr. sends a super chat. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. That will be doubled as well and donated. And yeah, man, Bia, do you have anything else you want to end off on? I know you have a hard stop coming up here, but do you have any thoughts that you want to leave them with?
Yeah, man, I see all these people just saying, hey, thank you for all you do, B. Your book rocks. It changed my life. And like, hey, B, no questions. Mike Miller, hey, B, no questions. Just want to thank you for inspiring me and the guidance, etc. Look, man, I love how y'all reach out to me all the time and tell me how I inspire you, how I help change your life, how you've kind of turned the corner, you've become the 2.0 version, you've quit the vices, you quit making excuses, you got your shit dialed in and you're structured. All of the thank yous in the world mean a ton to me, and I appreciate it. But the best and highest way you can thank me is by paying it forward to others. Like, if I was able to impact and influence you, what I'm asking you to do is go and impact and influence two other people, right? Like lead by example. Don't just become the best version of yourself. Be an example to at least two other people. And look what I did. I literally hammered you guys over the head over and over and over again until y'all took action and started changing your life, making more money, getting in better shape, being able to articulate yourself, getting over your anxieties and depressions and all that bullshit. Well, now you have to pay it forward to others. And if you're willing to do it, pay it forward to others, that is truly the highest level of compliment you could ever give me.
100%. All right, so I lied. We're not done yet. Shout out to Rob Theo, man. We got to talk about Australia before we wrap up. He sends a super chat. Says, hey, guys, appreciate you both. Looking forward to seeing you here in Australia, B. We need to do the Harbour Bridge climb when you're here in Sydney. And he shouted out Rob for his event. I don't know what that is. What's a harbor? I mean, I'm not going to be there anyways, but that sounds pretty intense, dude. That's going to be gnarly.
Well, I'm guessing it's a bridge and there's some climb, and apparently we're going to do it when I go to Sydney.
It's going to be crazy.
Let's talk about that. So, Rob, first off, looking forward to seeing you, my friend. July 18th, 19th, and 20th will be in Brisbane, Melbourne, and Sydney, Australia. And if you guys are from Australia, you're watching or listening to this show, I want you to go to bedroskeuilian.com, and literally the second or third button is the Rise to Greatness tour that we're doing with Rob's help and Fizz events in Australia, July 18th, 19th, and 20th. I'm going to be out there. I've never been to Australia. This is going to be a huge event that we're doing in those 3 cities, Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney. And you're going to want to join us, man. Like, if you're looking to level up, if you're looking to grow to the highest level, if you want to make more money, have greater meaning, and you're tired of having like these people around you who aren't motivating, inspiring, and pushing you to greatness, and you want to be surrounded by people who are going to inspire you to greatness, like, and you live in Australia, you have to come out to Rise to Greatness. And so just go to bedroskeuilian.com, click the link for the Australian tour, and join us. It is going to be a freaking killer event that's going to change and transform your life. Thanks for the donation, Rob.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Awesome, man. Well, I thought it was a great show, shorter than usual. By just a half hour, but it was great. I know a lot of people got a lot of value. Hopefully you were taking notes on, a lot of the stuff he was talking about, especially when it comes to content creation, because so many people ask those questions about how do I create content. You gave them no excuses now. I hope they wrote it down. Yep. They applied their personality to it, and they take off. So anyways, man, it's always a pleasure.
Well, I'll tell you guys what, man. Leighton, first off, thank you so much. Team in here, thank you guys and appreciate you. And everyone watching and listening to this episode, or I guess this YouTube Live right now, thank you. It means a lot to me. And I can't wait to see you guys all at BK Live or in Australia if you're from Australia. But beyond everything else, just remember this, that average is the enemy, that success is your responsibility, and change can take place in an instant if you are willing to flip the switch. We'll see you guys next time.
Sweet.
Nice.